Hi, everyone. Welcome to Copi Cafe. This is episode number 56.
And I am Rob Gregg, the co-CEO of Cornucopias, and that is Josh Jones, the other
Yeah,
co-CEO.
dude. Okay, you run with it.
Yeah, well, Cornucopias is an MMORPG Metaverse game that will be accessible on multiple platforms. It's created on the Unreal Engine 5, and we build all our own AAA assets and graphics in-house. The Cornucopia Metaverse is a network of floating bubbles and domes, each with diverse characteristics and themes. And on today's show, we are going to talk to you about what's going on behind the scenes with some game news. Then we'll drag that out a little bit. Then we'll have some community questions, and then we'll go straight to a leak. So we're not dragging it out; we're rushing into that leak. So let's start off, Josh. What are you drinking today?
Well, hold on. Well done. I just got to say, well done. Good intro. I enjoyed that. I am drinking, well, a Spendthrift. It's been my drink of choice. It's, carbonated, lime flavored. It's tasty. What about you?
Today, I am being an awesome uncle, and I have a cup of tea, a cup of British tea.
You're not. I have had your British tea, and it's quite tasty. I know that we bought some of the same kind that you drink at the store here, and we occasionally have it. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Yorkshire tea. We have Yorkshire tea.
Yes, sir.
Very, very nice.
Not all of them, but some of them.
1.5 sugar.
Yeah. I think you and Aunt do your sugars a little differently, but we won't go into that.
Yeah.
All right. So are you going to lead us off with topics? Or?
Well, yeah. First topic is game news. So I know that we have been working on matchmaking at the moment for EC2. So matchmaking is when you join a game or you join a lobby and you then want to go into the multiplayer environment, you have to join a server. So matchmaking, it can get complex or quite simple, but for testing, it's just going to put you in an available server where other players can all play and synchronize together. So the very basic matchmaking for testing. But later on, that will be expanded. I suppose, depending on how you good are at racing, we will have some kind of like a similar to chess, like an ELO system, where as you get better, you'll then be put against better players. We'll introduce in the league different league systems, so the better players will be competitive. Well, better player, well, competitive. You'll be competing with people of your own skill level, so it'll be fair for everyone.
Yeah. Good point. I think, and overall, in anything that we're releasing, the amount of details that we have to cover to be able to do this first launch is it's so much. And so each one, we need to think about what is the minimum that we can release with, because there's so much we have to accomplish that, it's quite obvious like that when we get into an idea session and we fully flesh something out, it's like the team's like, whoa, hold on. But we do have a good vision for where this will go, and for many of the things that we're building, where it will go. So there's just a long road ahead, and what we want to do is get this launched, get this in your hands, and let everybody start playing, which is obviously getting closer and closer, and very exciting about that. But yeah, that's all I'd say there. Yeah, I agree. We'll start simple and then improve as we go.
Yep. Also, to do with the racing game, I know Declan's been working more on the PC game controller support, which we touched on this last week. That's been coming along really, really nicely. So what he's doing, he's mapping controls like the triggers to the equivalent keys on the keyboard. So you'll be able to play with mouse, keyboard, or controller. I always play on controller, so that'll be really good for me. I think, do you do a mixture? How do you play?
Well, it depends on what we're doing. When we're shooting those gameplay leaks, we use the keyboard because it helps us to not be too jerky, and it helps us to be smoother for, the effect of the video. But yeah, definitely controller, man.
So that's a
I'm
nice
right
little.
here. I'm ready to go with the controller.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I've got the same controller.
Yeah. And for racing, that's a good question. I will say that for racing last year, it was easier to use the keyboard. And then when you use the controller, it was a little more delicate, like the distance that it was very refined how far you would move the thumbstick. It was more reactive. So that sort of thing, we got to get calibrated and all of that, but it was just slightly different. So I preferred keyboard, but then, we obviously used controller.
But like you say, that setup was kind of a setup out of the box for everyone wanted. In the game itself, you will have those calibration menus, so you'll be able to choose your own settings and perfect them. So yeah. But I think I'll try both. I do admit for racing, I think I probably will prefer to use the arrow keys. But although I suppose a lot of people use WASD, we'll try and accommodate for everyone.
Yeah,
back in the Spectrum days, it used to be QAOP space, but not many people use that setup anymore.
This is just making me think of some of the leak videos that we can't share yet that David sent over the weekend and yesterday with the racing, the thrusters, the reverse thrusters, what's been worked on there. Oh, man, I'm getting really excited to play it.
That home stretch, the things that's on the left and the right-hand side. Yeah. The bit slightly outside, the podium, all of that ridiculous. That we can't talk about. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Amazing. And there's so much exciting stuff there that we got to show you guys, and we can't wait to get the game going. But it is one of those things where, like, I've already said it, but so many little details come up at the last second that, when you're trying to launch with the branding level and the perception of quality that we want to create, it just makes it a lot more challenging. But man, it's exciting. There's a lot that's been accomplished, and so we're getting so close. Even with the desktop launcher, we're at that place right now where the functionality is there. It's good, but now we're looking at how it looks and how it appears to everyone. So Jeff had a huge list to go over with Chamara and cover all that and get that fixed up. But internally testing the desktop launcher now for functionality, which is great. And then we're getting that refined and get those fixes made. And then we'll move that to public testing when we're ready. I'm hoping that it's next week, but I'm not certain on that. It just depends on I didn't get the estimate from Jeff yet on how long it'll take him to get those UI and design issues fixed. But I hope that it's quick, because then we'll be next up to do testing and launching. After that is going to be the game. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen so many game demos where you just get absolute basic screens, but we're kind of going out for full blown. They're not going to be the final screens, but they could pass. They could pass for final screens for a lot of games.
Yeah, they're going to look good, and we know people are going to be snapping screenshots, and a lot of this is shareable, and so it's important to us to have that consistency of Cornucopias branding. But we're getting really close. Very exciting stuff.
Yep. I know also we talk about things that has been shared with us. I know for the last few weeks, David has been sharing with us different teasers for Solace 2, because Solace is a number of zones, and as you build things, I mean, we must have been building Solace well over a year, 18 months or so, and Unreal Engine has been changing, and we've had to been writing tools, and then those tools have been perfected. So a lot of the learnings that is taken from Solace 1 have now coming through to Solace 2. So Solace 2 is coming together really, really quickly. And then he might go back and do a few more tweaks to Solace 1. So I know they've recently replaced a few of the trees with some different some different assets. They've been upgraded, but I mean, I think that's just a change of a texture, and it just replicates all around almost instantly. So we're not, it's not like a massive update, but yeah, as you improve, it's great to know that you can quickly go back and improve what you've already done, but at the same time knowing that Solis 2 will be built pretty quick. Solis 3 should then be even quicker. We've got Esperanza 1, 2, and 3, and then Fortune. Those early assets I think have been started, but I don't know what. I don't think so. I think we're just concentrating on Solis and Esperanza at the moment. But
correct.
Yeah, I can't wait to get onto those, and those are obviously being worked on in the background while we're building Toledo Valley.
Yeah, and systems are in place. He made a refinement to the system, the grid system. We've talked about this a little bit before, but he made it a lot less grids. And then there's a physical 3D thing that happens when you complete a grid. So you have that feeling of accomplishment. Yeah. So, and the importance of that is that we need a system to ensure that each of the zones and each of the domes that we release are up to our standards and quality, for the art pass. And this is a system that he's put in place that will scale to multiple other developers. So when the time is right to bring on a few more junior artists, that's what we'll do. And they'll have that system in place, and we'll be able to more efficiently build and complete each of these zones and domes.
Yeah, I think to explain that a little bit more is it's almost like putting a chessboard on top of Solis. So you've got all these different squares. And to begin with, I think he said he had about 100 of these different squares. And then what the artists would do, they'd kind of do that block and then do that block and then do that block. But then when David looked at it, it was kind of, it didn't really look put together. Well. So he made the boxes a lot bigger. So now I think he might have 20 boxes, and they're not allowed to veer out of an entire box. And the approach that we're doing, which makes a lot of sense, is we're building out all the land and all the hills and all those. And now that we've started to put the individual land plots on them, it's like the real world would happen. The land is there, the land plots go on, and then there's some sculpting of the land and shaping it just like builders would do, rather than put down all the plots and then build all the other stuff behind it. That doesn't flow. So we're starting with an entire world and building the land plots in that. And the early results that we've seen, I mean, it's amazing. And then we're taking those through. And then when it goes public testing, I think, will we release the ability to see the boxes for the testers for Solis? So you go and look at box 20 and just test that box. And I hope we do.
That's a good question. That would be potentially ideal to go box by box with the testing groups.
I know we can
map to hyperlocate to the actual box would be effective too. Yeah. So like when upon start hyperlocate
straight to the GPS coordinates. I know we have that, and we can put that on screen. So if somebody sees a glitch and they do a screenshot, we should be able to have the GPS coordinates on screen and the test, and we can replicate it straight away. Right. So we're building all these tools for ourselves, and then obviously those will be passed through to the community for when they're doing their testing of Solis. But Solis is a little way off from testing. We're concentrating on Toledo Valley at the moment, but it's good to know that all these things do integrate well together.
Yeah, and we've talked about a variety of things to make testing easier and better. But one of them is giving the exact location coordinates of whatever you screenshot to enter into the desktop launcher's ticket or bug report. So when you're entering that information, it's already there. Yep. Furthermore, the desktop launcher's already been designed to read your system specs, so we know that all of the important details for what sort of system you're using and what might be the issue of the problem. Yeah. So we've done a good amount of thought there, but a long way to go, without a doubt, with testing. But Ant's doing a great job of really getting that team in place and going. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it's important to know that if you know what graphics card you've got and how much memory, and if you've got the game set up in ultra mode and you've got a really low powered PC, then it's good for us to know that rather than try and replicate something that we can say, well, we can see something that's kind of wrong at a first glance. So yeah, that'll be really interesting to see those with the community. But okay, let's move on then. So we're actually filming this on Tuesday evening instead of our usual Wednesday because I'm going to a London meetup tomorrow, City AM Meetup. It feels like I do this every other month now, but this is
he's got a lot of them. There's no doubt.
This is their 5th birthday, but this one is an entire day where we talk about Web3 and blockchain, and there's influencers that go there, and people from industry, and some projects will be there. So I think Meld will be there. I think Clay Nation will probably be there, and a few other projects as well. So these are great events to meet up and have a chat, and also talk to all kind of industry and networking.
Yeah, these are conferences like this are always important to attend, and James does a great job of putting on a good conference. So that should be fun. I have FOMO, I have to admit. I know we talked about me making it up there, but life has been a little chaotic on my end. We had a real big scare with one of our family members, our furry family members, this last week, and so it's been kind of tough to plan to get away. But and thankfully she is okay, our dog. But she was in the emergency vet for 5 days straight, which really sucked. But anyway, she's good, and I'm not going to make it, so I'm just going to have to sadly sit on the sidelines and watch you having all sorts of productive, hard work fun over there.
But James, there'll be more meetings, and then there'll be the awards ceremony at the end of the year and CNFT Con. So I mean, it would have been nice to get to see you, because I haven't seen you guys in nearly a year now.
Yeah, it's been a while. We're trying to figure out a more regular cadence, and we will.
Yeah,
we definitely will. But yeah, it's always so good to get together, just because you talk to each other virtually. That's one of the drawbacks of our international metaverse team, is that you talk to a digital image of everyone regularly, but we got to get together in person more frequently, for sure.
It's true. And we've spoke a lot, I suppose, over the last few months about AI, and you're actually not talking to me, you are talking to an NPC.
Could be one of 3 of the clones I've had of myself, so that I could be more efficiently out playing golf right now, but while still getting work done. But you don't know which one you're talking to.
But speaking of AI, we have had some success with AI, and we have now integrated it into the COPI Wiki.
Nice transition, by the way.
So it's like we planned it, but we didn't. But so if you actually go into the COPI Wiki, when you go in the search box, on search, you will see search on the right-hand side, and you will also see lens. Now, if you click on lens, you can ask the COPI Wiki any question you want, and the whole wiki has been spidered, ingested, understood. Ask it a question, it will. So a question I asked, my very first question, who is Abigail? So not only did it tell me who Abigail was, it also gave me the links to that,
which is awesome. So is it Gitbook, right?
Yeah,
it's our provider.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm glad we chose them. I mean, that's phenomenal, because they've clearly decided to empower their platform with an LLM. So it's basically very similar to a Chat GPT. They might be using Chat GPT. I don't know who they're using, but it's connected to an LLM. And so, this is very much what we were talking about accomplishing with SingularityNet and Sophiaverse, but we managed to do it more quickly with our existing Gitbook Wiki platform. That doesn't mean that we will continue to use that. I would imagine after time that Gitbook will start upcharging for that, and we'll have to see if that's economical for us or not. And we don't know how fast it'll be, but we still have the need to have our own system that can be used within the game and is performant and is cost effective and economical. So there's a ton more research to do on the AI side. But another thing is David recently used Adobe for some of the game, some of the game art, which is helpful. So if that's helping to speed up a lot of his work that would take a long time with the amount that needed to be done there, then that's great. But
technology moves fast into it. I mean, when we started 2 years ago, nobody was talking about AI, but we knew with the COPI Wiki that we wanted this big data store of information. And then when AI came out, we thought, well, that would be an absolute great database of information that later on we could feed into like an LLM or into the game somehow. We didn't realize how quickly that somehow is, and it is here today. And what we can also do from that is that comes with APIs as well. So the COPI Wiki can actually be integrated in the future via an API into Discord, into our website, and actually into UE5. So it's powerful on its own, but now as a searchable database that understands questions and coupled with an API, it's gonna really take off and come into its own, which I think is something quite unique to our project, because I don't think other projects have seen this. But so I definitely encourage those that are using Gitbook to explore these features, because I think they'll be really, really powerful.
Yeah, completely agree. And yet technology is moving at an incredible pace. And so we're doing our best to keep up with how might that make us more efficient and more productive. And it's exciting to see the developments like this occur, without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, and one last thing on that, I would say to the community, go on the COPI Wiki, ask these questions, do screenshots, throw them in Discord, because it'll be really interesting to see what questions you come up with and how it responds, because there is no human.
What happens if you ask a question completely unrelated to Cornucopias?
It then says,
Okay, so it is a very limited model.
Yeah.
It's utilizing the LLM aspects for language structure, but it's only using one data set, which is our wiki.
Yeah, it's been told just to be trained on that one. You can expand it to the wider world, but it's not what we'd want. I mean, you wouldn't want. I mean, if you think about how challenging it is to ask an NPC a question, for example, if that NPC answers the question off some answer it found outside our game that's not been approved by us and not official, we could get into all kinds of trouble, couldn't we?
Well, yeah, and also if it was charged by the token, which many of these platforms are, and this one isn't currently, that would massively scale up costs. We need to keep that limited. Yeah. But yeah, good point. Okay.
Okay. Well, moving on then, I suppose next section we have some community questions.
Yes, sir. Do you want to ask me, or you want me to ask you?
I can ask you, I don't mind.
Okay, go for it.
Let's have a look. So, racing game adventures. Oh, this question's from YouTube, actually. The question is, thanks for another great episode. It must be of Copi Cafe. One question, are there any plans about early testing for content creators?
Yes, 100%. And it's not as much about early testing as it is about just giving you guys early access. However, obviously, if you were to report an issue, we would be all over that, and we would be very thankful for the assistance with that. But what we're working on is a system where when we get a new build, we also have a build that can be turned on or off certain areas for influencers and our influencer group. And content creator, influencers, however you want to call it, entrepreneurs. And this will be a program that will scale it out over time. Initially, we're just going to start with a few people that we're close with and we trust, and just kind of test out the system and see that it's working well. And then once we feel good about that, we'll have a form probably in our Discord or on our website where you can apply for that role. And then you would have to show certain, qualifications or criteria to be in that camp, because we obviously don't just want that to be the general public, because that would defeat the purpose. So what that would be is special access based upon the ability to showcase our content to a large group of people right before something that's coming up or whatever. So maybe we're about to launch Fortune and we want to show that to all the influencers and get people excited about it, that something new is happening. We give them access. They go in and they create content. They run around in Fortune. They do the things that we allow them to do in the areas that we're allowing them access to. And then from there, they're able to create solid content. We'll have some criteria involved for what level of graphics card and video that you need to have to really showcase what we're doing in the best possible fashion. But basically, that's the gist of the idea, is that we take this influencer build within the game and we empower the community to get a large amount of reach in a quick amount of time. And over time, hopefully, 2 years from now, we've got 5,000 people that we're sending this special access to, and we're reaching 20 million people in a short amount of time by just sending an email with your, special access.
And that's a good point. This influencer build is not something that's just short term. This is going to be long term. This will be forever. So it'll be early access of early access to begin with. Then it'll be early access of all kinds of functionality. And so that means that influencers or people that are thinking of becoming an influencer at the moment, or maybe have just started their journey, don't think of your audience that you have now. Think of where that could be in 6 months or a year or 18 months and 2 years, because you have to chip away from this. And then, suddenly you get a big audience. So this is waiting there along that journey. We will help you. We'll provide the content and we'll give you access. And yeah, I mean, it's a great goal to aim for. Okay, then another question. This is from Genius Knight. Question: over the past few weeks, I've been brainstorming how my children can play cozy, responsible, and safe with Cornucopias. My wish is to create a safe playing environment for our children. So the metaverse is new. It's a long question. Our expectation is that millions of players will play the game. How many or percentage of children under the age of 16 or 18, your experience, will play the game? And, it's a long question.
Okay, yeah. So
that's the gist of it.
It's a great question. And the brand that we're building, we want this to be family safe. We want this to be okay for, I've got tons of nieces and nephews, and I want them to be able to jump on and me to not have any issue with that. And, one of the first things that we've done early on is we've tried to create the Discord to be that kind of space. So our primary community, where all of you guys are engaging, we're trying to keep that family friendly even. And so that's, a lot of people might think that's lame, but the reality is we want kids to play this. We want them to feel okay to play this. And so that's one of the things that we'll do, with our player account setup. There's a profanity filter. It was annoying in the beginning because it was so strict that it was picking these random words that weren't even really an issue, but we have that in place so that, kids feel, so the parents feel somewhat safe for their kids in that regard. But then down the line, we don't know exactly what type of domes we'll do and what's going to fit with our brand to allow. But there's certainly a good reason that we've chosen Cardano, along with what they're doing with the Tala Prism and digital identity. We might have the ability to create limitations there based upon age and things of that nature. So that's a possibility too in the future. We have thought about a lot of these things. But so far, we're just trying to keep it where it's going to be family friendly for all. And, there's no perfect solution there. You have to know that.
And I think, like you're saying, when we will have a Tala Prism and we will have an identity system in the game. And we can control obviously what happens within the metaverse gaming side of it. What we don't have full control of is some of the custom domes. When we open that up to the brands to build theirs, there will be guidelines, but these will be one of the tools that we offer as well. So we will offer tools such as you can restrict people maybe on a policy ID. So if you have your own NFTs, maybe you can restrict players because they only hold yours. If you do have content that may say have swearing in, for example, and so you mark your dome as, this is kind of for over 18s only, then, as long as that's within our guidelines, then, we will then give you the tools to say this is over 18s only, and we'll have controls in there to look at the player's identity. But those will come in the future. We're not going to allow everything within those custom domes. There will be some heavy guidelines. We don't want the game to turn into go too far the other way. But yeah, it's a good question. We will control our environment, and we will give tools to give to the creators for their domes.
Yes, good point. Agreed.
I don't really have another third question.
No, it's fine. We're some of the questions that you guys have sent, we're not in a position to answer yet because we're still exploring and getting more clarity in those areas. So if you've sent in questions before and we haven't answered them, we do apologize. It's not that we're not seeing them or we don't care. It's more that there's a good amount that we just don't know the answers to. There's only so much you can cover and plan. We've got a lot, as you guys know, it's a lot to keep up with. It's just go to our wiki and read that if you want to get and absorb as much information as possible. But just reading that alone will let you know how much there is. We've had to think through and plan. And when it comes down to each little detail of that, it's not all there just yet. But yeah, we answered what we could for this week, but feel free anytime, guys, to send in your questions. If we can answer them, we absolutely will. And I guess it's time for our leak, huh?
Let's go for the leak. Yeah. Shall we bring it up?
Yeah, let's do it.
So this is an option screen where you can choose the vehicle so you're about to race. So one of the options is you can choose the manufacturer, you can choose the track you want to go and race on, because we'll eventually have 5 different tracks, as you can see there, that they're based on colors in Toledo Valley. So we have a yellow and a blue and a red. We'll have 5 tracks. You can choose various NFT vehicles. Mm-hmm. So we have the bubble jets, the javelins, the different manufacturers there, and the free ones will be there. So this is another step towards finalizing the game.
And as you can see, the performance listing there, speed, acceleration, handling, braking, that's an area that we're actually getting the refinement in right now. We've gotten to the stage of working on the physics where we're nailing down each vehicle's performance, and that's exciting too. So we're just, each little thing, we're getting closer and closer to the finish line. But this is pretty cool. I'm excited about this, especially with Rockabilly Pink. I've just reminded that that's the name of our color. Are you familiar with Revan Horton Heat? Anybody that is, chime in on that one in the comments. It's a good band I used to listen to. I haven't heard them in quite a while. Anyway, they were Rockabilly.
Okay. It's type of American music, isn't it? Is it a style?
Yeah, it's just a genre.
I think what's we should talk about on this is I think this was mocked up in Figma. So this isn't an actual screenshot from the game. This is what the game is being built from. But on there, as well as seeing what we've said about the tracks and the vehicles, you'll also see some of the controller support that we talked about before with the trigger buttons. And so, it's all in there. So, we're getting closer.
Yeah, much closer. It's a good leak. It's all of these final details that we're working through. And I do believe that, this is just an early version of this, and there's just going to be more to it later down the line. But very cool.
Those that joined us in Vegas last year, they would have seen a different selection screen, really basic of you know, pretty rubbish graphics of a menu system, but the vehicle spinning in was great. Whereas this now obviously is linked to your wallet, so it has to have a much bigger and broader interface, which I think we've kind of sussed out. I'm pretty sure this is iteration 1, and we will have 2, 3, and 4 eventually as we get more and more feedback from the community. But
just yet another API to bring in the wallets, the in-game APIs, the launcher APIs, the player account. So many APIs we got to have for all of this. That's just one little element, but there's a lot involved in just that one element.
Indeed.
Crazy.
Well, that is our show for this week, episode 56. Wow. One a week, so that's over a year that we've been doing this now. It doesn't feel like we're slowing down.
It's crazy, man. Thank you for leading this episode. I enjoyed it. Get to sit back and relax.
No worries. Back to normal next week. You can take. I mean, maybe next week my hat will arrive. I'm still waiting for my hat. Any hat will do at this stage. I might even make my own.
Well, I hope you get your hat soon.
We'll get a hat.
Until next time, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.